is here, our rec director, and I just wanted to invite him down here today because, as we all know, he's moving on in his career. He's accepted a different position, and we just wanted to make sure that he didn't go without getting a little recognition from us for all the good years that he has put in for us. So, Nathan, come on up here. I've got a little something to give to you. There you go. All right. Just a little plaque, a little memento for your wall. And thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Speech.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. When I got first hired, who knew it was going to be 10 years? And yeah, it's been quite the journey. So thank you.
How many years?
Just over 10 years.
Really? Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Miss.
much.
Okay.
All the best to your new job.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
He just got her.
Okay, congrats.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Let me see, let me see.
We'll still be working with you.
Pardon?
I said, we'll still be working.
Oh, yeah.
with
You're,
you.
not, you're not going too far.
Yeah.
I look forward to working with you in the future. Okay. All right. So let's call the meeting to order at, is it 7:05?
706.
Okay. And are there any agenda additions or deletions? No. Okay. So I've got a motion moved by Councillor Bellefontaine, seconded by Deputy Mayor Antoine, that council adopt the agenda of regular meeting RM18-2019 as presented. All in favor? Okay, so that's 5 in favor, none against. Now, what did I just do with my pen?
Oh, I have it.
Oh, okay. Thanks. All right, so the agenda is adopted. Any declarations of interest in any of the items tonight? None noted.
Well, I'm not sure about this Lady Queen for giving his request. I'm not sure what that is about. But
Okay, maybe just wait and when,
Yeah,
as it comes up,
okay,
if you think you are, you
I
can
don't think
declare.
I'm gaining anything personal out of it. So
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, just wanted to make sure.
Councillor absences. I've got a motion moved by Councillor Bellefontaine, seconded by Councillor Morrow. The council excuse Councillors Michael Rowe, Kirby Grote, and Marie Lafferty. From the regular meeting RM18-2019. We know Marie had said she may or may not be here.
Yeah.
Mike, did
He did
Okay.
indicate his absence.
and I think Kirby said he
As
was
well.
not going to be here for a while, right?
Yes,
A couple of
that's-
weeks. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so all in favor then? 5 in favor, none against, so these councillors are excused. And we have a delegation tonight. Sergeant Byron Donovan is here. And Deputy Mayor, if you wanted to relinquish that seat, we could ask Byron to sit up here for a minute.
Absolutely. There you go,
And,
sir. Watch my handbag. There's no millions there.
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Very good. Yeah, we got your report here. And, did you want to give us a Cole's notes version of it, or do you want to just take some questions?
Yeah, you just give a quick version of it again. It was July and August. I'm not sure if I presented the July one yet, but as you can see, we average around 150 calls a month, right? It's a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but that's on average a month. Nothing spectacular happened in either month when it comes to sorry, August it did. But in July, there was nothing big, and I believe it was in August or early September, maybe it was. But you guys probably saw in the media was a break-in there at the post office. So that file is progressing. That's probably the biggest file this summer, I'd say. We flew in from Yellowknife our IDENT team, which they specialize in processing crime scenes of all sorts, including break and enter. So from that's assisting with our break and enter, both at the post office and then one at the golf course for this year. Our prisoner count remains about the same. I think right now we sit at 94 prisoners for the entire year since January 1st. Last year, at the end of the year, we finished at 127, so we're on par to probably be about that or below that as well. Right now, we're fully staffed, excluding one of our members, David Tyler's on pat leave for a few months. Besides that, we got Constable Lane Weishauer, that's fairly new into community, and then Constable Kelly Bolton, who transferred in from New Brunswick in July with his spouse. So, besides that, like, there's nothing really spectacular that happened over July and August, which is always nice for us. But open up to any questions or comments from either reports or anything that's not even on the report. So.
When you get the new members in, feel free to invite them down to introduce them to us. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Even with the band council too, probably not a bad idea, but yeah, we'd like to meet them, I guess.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Any other questions? Yeah, there is a meeting coming up.
There is a meeting. I'll address that unless there's any other questions.
No?
No? Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
On September 26th, the Director of Justice for the GNWT is doing a tour of the south area. So they're going to Hay River, Fort Liard, and here as well. And they want to meet with both the detachment as well as elected officials. So I sent an email out to Daryl to share with everyone here, as well as to the band office to share everyone over there to get the leadership here. Just to have an understanding of what our policing roles are, how they might be changing here in the future, and where we're going right as a division. And I think having it's the first time ever seeing someone from Justice actually come to communities, which is really nice. That gives a different side outside of the RCP world, right? Also, a part of that tour will be Inspector Amber Clark, who I think a majority of people have met. She'll be our third time in the community. And then our new superintendent, who's the second commanding officer in the community, he'll be joining as well. The crops officer, so he's in charge of criminal operations for the whole Northwest Territory. So Jeff Christie. So we're planning for a meeting about 3:30 in the afternoon. It's all weather dependent, right? The time of year sometimes the communities are going to might be a little tight to get in and out of. So we're hoping for 3:30. As much people that are available to come, to please come and meet and pose any questions, compliments, concerns, all that fun stuff, or maybe some good questions to the justice, right, and to our leadership. So again, it's on the 26th. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that'll be excellent. We'll try to make sure we have as many of the council as possible attend.
I'm gonna have it here.
Yeah, if this room is good, yeah. So
good
running with an email. I was going to call you tomorrow for your
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
portion.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay. So yeah, if there's no other questions, for sure, I'll take into the bringing members down here to meetings. It's always good, right, to know who's new in town, and formal introductions are always good too. So with that,
I have a question.
absolutely.
So you said it'll be similar to previous visits. When was the last visit here?
The last visit would have been in June or May or June of this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I must have missed that one.
Yeah, there was only Daryl, Merle, and maybe Mike, and I think
Sure.
That
Maybe
one
not.
was?
Yeah, there wasn't too many here, but there was,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
It's always
what
tough
would
during
you-
the work days, right? Because when they do their travels, it's always during the work days, and everyone else, has other commitments besides here, right? So that's always the difficulties.
Is there any minutes of those meetings or any brief report, summary, or anything for the rest of us that weren't there?
I have notes. I took notes that day, so what I can do is I'll run off a synopsis, and I can deliver that off to Daryl and drop that off.
Oh, that'd be kind of you.
Yeah, what it really was, that meeting was an introduction of Amber Clark, who is the new inspector here. And so she wanted to meet with leaderships and communities, and just to get an idea, introduce herself, put her face around, and get time to address any concerns. So
Is that the director of justice?
no, that's the inspector for the RCMP.
Oh,
Yeah, director of justice. Last name is Gardner. I've never met them before. So
So as you bring new members in with the 911 system coming in, and if they're fairly new, are you ensuring that they get to know all the streets in Fort Simpson, just so that, there's a quick way to get to the...
Absolutely. And the nice thing about Fort Simpson in the community itself, the town area, is it's the grid system like it is in British Columbia or in Alberta, right? So when we get those 4 digits and then or 5 digits and the street, it's easy for them to find out. But they do, one of the part of the thing is orientating them around the community and driving them around and showing them, key spots that, might be a higher call volume for us.
Yeah,
And then making our way around up the hill around Wild Rose area, because
there's a lot of
twisted around.
names.
Yeah, twist around easily up there. Right?
No street numbers, just
Yeah, no
names
street numbers,
you
no
have to-
lot numbers, or not
Numbers.
everyone.
yeah,
Just numbers.
I have a physical address. It's lot 25.
but the street is,
Yeah, it's
A
on
name.
Hardesty Lane.
yeah, so just all the last names of,
Yeah, it's different.
families and...
Yes, just a different setup right from Midtown, where it's on the grid system. Where
Yeah, so we
up
have
the
both
hill.
systems going.
Yeah, I don't know much about the 911, how it's going to roll out, but that might be a good question to ask the director of justice, and as well as the crops officer. They're obviously more involved on the setup of that than we are locally at the detachment.
If it's
So-
not too much, I would like to ask for an agenda for this meeting.
Yeah, I can get that. There's no real agenda out. I can ask for one.
Yeah, it would be nice
Yeah.
because it'll be good to go if there's an agenda and so we know
Yeah.
what to expect.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if we have questions, we'll have something to address.
No, 100%. Yeah, I can ask for an agenda for sure. So I'll get that, and I'll send that off to Daryl. So
Thank you.
no, absolutely. So
And do you notice any difference in the amount of alcohol-related crime now that pot is legal? Is there any change in that at all? Or is things are pretty much the same?
pretty much the same. We don't see any changes, and statistically, our call volume hasn't changed at all. The amount of files that are alcohol related, that's not something in here. I can actually add that to reports. So that's one of the stats I can easily run. How many files we attend monthly that involve alcohol, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Or drugs, right?
See, that the reason that I'm asking that is because there's been this issue brought up about the plebiscite issue and alcohol, opening that alcohol availability in the community. So knowing the stats would be probably helpful, even just
Yeah.
running them from now.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you can go back in time, but it's getting to be quite a bit of work. But yeah, even as your reports come in, give us some idea what we're looking at there.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe what I'll do then is include that stat. It's not that difficult to run our stats from previous year. I can even do years, right, for how many how many files had alcohol related to them,
Right.
right? That's an easy stat. I can even go back 3 years or something like
Oh,
that.
that would be pretty useful.
to provide that.
3
too.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do back more. Our current system goes back to 2005, right?
Right.
I can go back, tell them I want, or if it's
That's
something
a
that you're
That's a big order.
asking
Yeah.
for. It's simple, right? There's people at the Wave Analyst that potentially can help out with us as well. To do that, so
If it wasn't too much
Yeah.
work, it would be good to get it as far back as possible.
yeah, no,
Because I
absolutely.
think the community would be interested in knowing those stats.
Yeah,
We always go to public meetings and, we're just using what we know in our minds. We don't have the stats. It's useful.
yeah, no, absolutely. I can do that. When it comes to bootlegging files, we don't have too many bootlegging files that come in town
Right.
compared to other smaller communities, right? So, but yeah, for sure, for alcohol related, I can run those stats and have them ready for at the end of September reports.
Hmm.
So,
That would be good. Councillor Hassan.
Thank you. I just have just a little question about some abbreviations which I don't understand.
yeah, absolutely.
ODARA and TROS. I don't know what is that.
The first one was DRE.
ODARA.
Oh, ADARA.
Yeah.
So ODARA is the Ontario Domestic Violence Reporting. If you look on page 5, it's a report that when we're investigating a domestic violence offense,
Mhm.
it's a risk management tool that was developed through a university in Ontario, along with police forces in Ontario, to help the police determine if the offender is likely to reoffend and be of higher risk. And there's many, there's various questions that are included in their history of offenses against their current spouse or former spouses, children, residents, firearms, and so on about that. And sorry, the pros one is just it's abbreviation again for our police reporting operating system. So the computer system that we use to input all our data in. So
Thank you.
absolutely.
And Sergeant Donovan, when you say liquor destroyed immediately,
Yeah.
and there was 0 last year, but so far we've had 10. Is that like a different way of handling things that you're starting now?
So it's a new thing that we started capturing this year to report, because a lot of times when let's say we were driving down the street and we see someone sitting on the bench drinking,
Yeah.
we'd have them just pour out their liquor and that'd be it, right?
Mhm.
There'd be no capturing that. But now we capture them pouring out their liquor that is destroyed right there and then and there,
Okay.
rather than us taking it, seizing it, and then dumping it ourselves. It's just another reporting mechanism.
Yeah.
Mechanism for us. So
Well, that's probably a good way of handling it. If
yeah,
it's done.
it's done, right? And it's done.
The person knows
It's always done by them.
yeah,
We don't.
their choice.
Well, not much
They don't-
choice, but it's done by them, right?
Will you please wait?
Yeah. We usually get asked, but no, it's usually it's most of the time it's a non-issue in the people that we will be dealing with when we ask to dump it. There's very little hesitation; they'll dump it and then go on from there. So yeah.
Okay. Well, any other questions? Okay.
Oh, and one of the things I'll give credit to is, again, Betty Bird. She's a resource. I know she works out of the LKFN office. She is very busy because she not only looks after Fort Simpson, but she also looks after all Jean Marie, Trout Lake, Wrigley, Honey Butte, and Fort Liard as well, right? So she's very busy. We keep her busy, and that's one of the things is we're passing these files off to her as well to assist with people testifying in court. We've had a lot of good work through Betty. She's doing a great job at that and helping the victims of crime process everything and go through the court process there. A lot of times people don't like that, but Betty's been doing really well. Any other people doing really well in the community? I don't know or think anyone's on the board here, but the Justice Committee. We get a high amount, we refer a high amount, both youth for sure and adults to restorative justice. So the positive thing about that is it takes people out of the court system and they don't get a criminal record in the end. They work a lot of times with the victim of crime, and the repeat offender rate from them is minimal. Like Robert Firth and the crew over there do a phenomenal job. So that's something that we truly support. And I know, again, they're out of the LKFN office. So, yeah, so it's
Yeah, no, that's
a lot of good work.
a good way of dealing with it.
100%, yeah.
Good
Yeah.
people doing good work there.
It's so good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, so, yeah, absolutely. If there's not any more questions, I'll make sure I have those reports. I will go back as far as I can when it comes to
Well, that'd be much appreciated.
alcohol-related calls to service. So,
Okay.
perfect, and I will get an agenda, and as soon as I do, I'll send it off to Darrell, so.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank
Sergeant
Thank you very
Tyler.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great
I'll
evening.
talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good, thanks.
Thank
Later.
you.
Okay.
All
We
right.
have copies of the minutes here.
So, adoption of the minutes, we don't have any minutes tonight.
Okay.
We do have mayor's report. I don't have anything to report back to you. SAO report, Daryl, do you
A
have?
few items, Your Worship.
Okay,
Just as an information, Kevin and myself will be attending the Elegant Conference next week, so we will both be away, and Ben,
Jeez. I'm going to that too. Oh,
Ben will be acting as SAO for the week next week. So, for your information, you all are aware of the sod turning ceremony on Wednesday.
Did you receive the agenda?
Yes, and I think that's gone out as well to
Okay.
everyone. Times and everything. Kevin has been exploring some funding opportunities that would tie into potentially getting some new Christmas decorations. So, with council's endorsement, he'll continue that research, and as he gets more information and can bring some further information back to council, we'll be doing that. But we just wanted to sort of throw that out there at this point. The one thing that we have found is Christmas decorations are quite costly. So we are hoping to tap into lots of government funding to help out with that. So the manager at NOAA, Mr. Vandell, had come in to see me last week. There is a training opportunity that NOAA is going to be involved in with Aurora College on some heavy equipment operation. And the opportunity for us is to begin some of the preliminary landscaping and grubbing work at the landfill that we will need to move forward with respect to the biosolids composting pad. So I just wanted to let council know that there's more details to come back from NOAA yet, and some liability issues that we want to satisfy ourselves with. But this will give us a great opportunity to get a lot of grubbing work done at no cost, and will start us on our way to what appears to be some of the changes we're going to start doing next spring. So if there are any questions on that or anything, they are hopeful to be able to start their training program maybe mid-October, but we'll see as they come forward. So
Deputy Mayor has a question.
yes.
Any of our staff can take advantage of that training? Are you going to send any of them there?
I don't know what the parameters are through Aurora College for that training. I believe at this point it's geared more for younger workers just getting into the field. So, we'll
Doesn't hurt to ask. I guess.
exactly. So we'll certainly follow up on that. So, okay. And I believe that's it, Your Worship.
Okay, any more questions for Mr. White? No? Okay,
Oh,
yes. One more
I'm
thing.
just wondering if it might be prudent on the NOAA opportunity to have that as a council resolution supporting that. Go forward.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Just throw it around.
Yeah, there's no cost to us, just
No.
managing our employees'
Mhm.
time probably to coordinate a bit.
But the consensus
yeah.
clear that
Yeah.
it's something we want to take
Yeah.
advantage
Well,
of.
show of hands,
Yeah.
is
Or
everybody,
maybe just, if I may.
Yeah.
Is just wait till you have more discussions with Steve.
Mhm.
And,
For sure.
and then, once all that's detailed, we get more detail, then
Okay.
we can know what we're
right,
getting into.
and.
Right?
Yeah, and for now, everybody's
Yeah.
happy to
Yeah,
keep
because
the
it's a
discussion
good,
going.
it's a good training opportunity, and if we've got a project they can train on, why not?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Daryl. So, number 9, tabled items and old business. Well, we've got the bridge resolution, and haven't really had a chance. I know I sort of committed that I would take that resolution out for some input, and I haven't had a chance to do that. Maybe I'll just bring that up at the tri-council meeting, which we were hoping to have in September,
Mhm.
which should be something we can try to coordinate right away here. Because we've got a couple issues for sure on the alcohol plebiscite. We can bring up this bridge and other topics because it's been a little while. So maybe if
I will.
we can organize that. I know September was mentioned as the meeting date, so
No, I thought when we talked about September, we talked about that public meeting.
I know there was some mention of a public meeting
Yeah.
in September, or was it October?
Yeah, sometime in the fall, or late
Yeah.
fall, yeah, because I think a tri-council meeting would be a good start, and then, then you guys would have some resolved or some common themes or whatever to bring to the public
A
meeting.
little better prepared for a public
Because then
meeting.
that way, we know the 3 groups are on board, and we know what's going on, what they support,
Yeah, well, let's do that then.
yeah.
We'll wait for the tri-council meeting, which we'll try to organize and coordinate, and then we'll plan for a public meeting as, soon as reasonably
Yeah.
we can.
Yeah,
after
I'll
that.
bring this to the chief tomorrow. I think he was not well today.
Okay,
So I just popped in for a second and then I said, I'm just here for my post office keys. I'm going. They didn't want to talk to anybody because it's good.
okay, Councilor Hassan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I find myself, honestly, or I find ourselves going on the same bureaucracy. Like, what is that? Why are we waiting until September to get a resolution on a bridge? I think all these parties agree on that. So from our side, I think we should just move this thing ahead or move this issue ahead and vote on it. And definitely the LKFN and the Métis, they're gonna do the same. You guys, when you guys meet the Tri-Council, you do whatever. Even right now, this is, I notice, is on all the MLA's all MLA's campaigns. It's an issue for them. So, do you want the bridge? Yes. Do I want the bridge? Yes. Chief Antoine want the bridge? Yes. Why are we waiting until September to have a meeting? Like, we just become like, it's just bureaucracy, honestly. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay,
What are we waiting for?
anybody want to respond to
That
that?
was the last couple of meetings ago, we discussed that, and that's exactly what we had said. Why not just go ahead and do it? But I don't know why we stopped it.
Hmm,
I don't know what we're getting ready for.
Yeah.
So that information of what we would like to do is just get it out there and let everybody know, get as much support as we could, and we'll work on the writing. We'll throw something in there. It's just work in progress.
Yeah, the council of the village of Fort Simpson supporting the project of having a bridge in Liard crossing or whatever, and it's the same. We've been fighting for this thing and for this issue for a very long time, and we're gonna be like dragging the whole issue again and again. Let's
Yeah.
finish it right.
Well,
Thank you.
is that a motion to move to adopt the resolution then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we need well, is there going to be a seconder to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, well then I need a
My motion
sheet.
right behind you.
Blanks right
So do you want me to read the resolution motion?
Yep, probably can, because some people might not have heard it for a while.
Whereas the government of the Northwest Territories has committed to complete the construction of Mackenzie Valley Highway to link all communities along the Mackenzie River and open the resources of Mackenzie Valley to future development. And whereas there are river crossings of both the Liard and Mackenzie rivers that would be required to make the highway a year-round highway rather than a seasonal highway. Whereas it would be most cost-effective to build a bridge on the Liard River near Fort Simpson prior to building a bridge at the Mackenzie River in Dooley Crossing, or undertaking other major construction of the highway north of Fort Simpson. Whereas the community of Fort Simpson is isolated for 2 to 3 months each year due to freeze up and break up of the ice on the Liard River. And whereas water levels on the Liard have created problems sustaining a reliable and continuous ferry service for the community of Fort Simpson, Liliquay in the summer, and whereas climate change is negatively affecting the operations of an ice bridge at the Liard Crossing. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Village of Fort Simpson, Liliquay, urges the government of the Northwest Territories to immediately undertake to do the planning for a bridge at the Liard River Crossing near Fort Simpson, Liliquay, which would include the following steps: study on the need for a bridge, 2, a traffic assessment, 3, a location study, 4, a reconnaissance study, a study of alternatives and feasible alternative study, preliminary engineering and developing plans, preliminary design and costing, evaluation of alternatives, risk analysis, and final choice, and a detailed project report. 2, the Village of Fort Simpson lobbies both the federal government and territorial government through their elected representatives to make the funding of a bridge study on the Liard River near Fort Simpson, Liliquay, a priority.
Okay, any further discussion on that? So what I've got is, just before we go ask again, if anyone has more thoughts, got a motion moved by Councillor Hassan, seconded by Deputy Mayor Antoine, that the village adopt a resolution, and I've got in brackets the attached resolution. It's been read to you now, so that's how it would read in the minutes. Any more thoughts on adopting that tonight? I think it still would be brought up at a tri-council meeting, irregardless, because we'd still be looking for support and input, and the position could change slightly, adopting new items that are important. So if there's no other input on that, Deputy Mayor, did you want to say something else?
Did we mention something about the Mackenzie Highway project in there?
What did we say?
The Mackenzie Valley Highway project from Wrigley to Norman Wells. Remember, we had a presentation from the GNWT saying that they got so much $1 million to start working on that.
Right.
Did we mention it in there?
Yeah, it mentions it in that there not be any more undertakings of other major construction of the highway north of Fort Simpson.
Until they look at this.
Until we look at the bridge, do a study.
So what's done is done, and that's fine, but let's focus now on the bridge, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor of adopting the resolution? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 5, 4, none against. Motion's carried and resolution's adopted. Okay. Now, committee minutes and recommendations. We do not have any. But
we'll discuss in camera some of the outcomes of the Human Resource Committee meeting that we had several weeks ago.
Okay. 11, new business. We have Liliquay forgiveness request, and I'll read the motion here. It says, moved by Councillor Bellefontaine, seconded by Councillor Hassan, I believe. Is that? Am I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's him.
That council approved the request from Liddiquay First Nation for free use of the curling lounge from September 30th through October 25th for 2 SVOP training courses. And those are those operator courses
Yeah, Marina.
that we were just talking about. Okay, so I guess, we get something, we give something. That's how it works. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, 5-4, none against. Motion's carried. And we have a request for letter of support.
11B.
11B, yes. Well, that's not really 11B there. Oh, here it is. There's two 11Bs, sorry.
My bad.
A resolution, a motion moved by Councillor Bellefontaine, seconded by Councillor Hassan, that council provide a letter of support to Liddiquay First Nation with respect to their recent project approval under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, ICIP.
Little background, Your Worship.
Sure.
The First Nations received approval to do some improvements at the Papal Ground on
Yeah.
the TP and the Arbor.
Yeah.
And as part of the approval process, letters of support from the different community groups are requested, and we'll be asking the same of them at our tri-council with
Yeah.
respect to our 2 approvals under ICIP with the trail and the chip seal.
Yeah.
So that's part of.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because when I initiated that application, I asked beforehand. I says, "Do I require letters of support?" "Oh, no, we don't have to." I'm in Italy and I get this. "Do we need this?" Just like, oh. So now I know beforehand. I don't care what it is. I'll request letters of support. Okay. Yep.
Okay, well, sounds like a good project.
Fix that
Any
TV.
further comments? Show of hands. All those in support of writing a letter of
It's
support,
pain.
okay? 5-4,
You
none
gotta
against.
abstain it. See that?
So we will have that drafted and sent over.
Thank you.
11C, contract award, concrete projects for 2019 and 2020. And I've got a motion moved by Councillor Bellefontaine, seconded by Councillor Hassan, that council accept the recommendation from Stantec with respect to the recent request for quotes related to various concrete projects, that the work be awarded to Rose Construction in the amount of $470,500 plus GST. Okay, we did see the breakdown of all the different projects.
Just a little background there as well.
Sure, maybe just review that for
Yeah,
everybody.
there's 5 projects that are part of this package. One is ongoing presently in the arena. There'll be a new concrete perimeter that will tie in with the new dashboard system within the arena. So that's the only one moving ahead this season. In the spring, there will be the curling slab, which will be completed. There'll be the sidewalk running along in front of the health center. There'll be some concrete at the wastewater treatment plant, and some concrete at the loading dock, and a step at the water treatment plant. I believe those are the 5 projects. So, this has been and will be moving forward in our capital plan that we update and bring forward in October for council's consideration.
Okay. Any comments or input from any of the councillors? Okay, well then let me see a show of hands in support of awarding that work to Rose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Against? Abstain? 1 abstention. Okay. That is carried and the work is awarded. 11B, Cooper Barging Service has sent in a letter highlighting a request or call to action for us.
A recent lands inspection brought forth some areas of concern for lands with respect to some encroachment of structures that actually encroach into the. Coopers are asking if the village would entertain hiving off a piece that road reserve that both of their properties abut, and basically creating an ability for them to lease that as well. And the thing with it is there is access on both sides of that roadway, so that or there wouldn't be a throughway through there like there was. There'd still be access for all of the potential development that may take place
Right, if there
in
was
the
ever
future.
power lines or something needed
Exactly.
down.
Yeah.
So we don't need that piece that they're occupying.
We don't priority-wise require it, and over the years, there's been a lot of sort of encroachment in there, so the actual road reserve doesn't get a lot of traffic anyway.
No.
In the sense of what's defined and then what's actually used.
Right.
So
So how would we word that to accomplish doing what they want? Like, what's your recommendation? Let's
It
put
would
that
be,
way.
it would be, if council was to support the request, it would be an amendment to the zone bylaw that we would move forward, so that we would actually be amending that particular piece of the road reserve to be no longer a road reserve, and just a parcel of land zoned commissioner's land still, and just zoned in industrial. And then it becomes, at that point, Coopers are able to approach lands and secure a lease on that. So,
Okay, so, and you see that as not being a problem for the village because we don't use that
we
access?
looked at the area, and the if you do close those two ends off, which aren't being used at the present time as a throughway, then you still have the ability to access from both sides,
Right.
and come in to a stop. We'd have to.
And what I noticed too is on the other side of where the roadway would lead you to, like if you drove down to the end, all you're really getting into is land that's just sloping off so badly that I can't see anybody actually ever using it or leasing it.
Is it a safety issue?
Well, it would be if someone were to take a lease down at that far end where we're keeping a roadway open for something I don't think anyone would ever use. Yeah. Meantime, Coopers have placed a bunch of trailers and things on slightly on the road reserve, let's call it. They want to lease it. It's probably a lot easier for them to just lease it with lands and us to give up than to try to.
So, if I may, Your Worship, tonight, it might be if council's in agreement to agree in principle to the request, and then we could develop a more formal zoning amendment bylaw for first reading.
Right.
And I think if we advise Coopers of council's intent, that will, I don't think Lands is making them move anything immediately. It's just, if they get some sense it's going to be changing, then they can satisfy Land and
Right.
go forward. That's why I didn't word it.
Right.
Okay, so this is more or less deferred. Okay.
What lot was it that the village right away was on?
Lot 30, 31, 32, 35, and unsurveyed portion. Group 911 planning agency.
I'll
It
just
says
say
here, the land subject is located between lot 35 and the lower lots of 30, 31, and 32.
And 32.
35, 31,
30, 31, 32.
30, 31, 32.
The lower lots, yeah.
And if I could write it in as this, just let me know if you want to make a change. The motion could read, the council agrees in principle to amend the village zoning bylaw to make a change to a village right-of-way on lots, putting currently 35, 30, 31, 32, that would allow Cooper Barging to lease this area. So that would be enough anyway to allow
Start the process.
Daryl to do what he needs to do and bring it back to us for a final change there.
Yes.
Okay, any more comments on that? All in favor? Okay, 5 in favor, none against. Okay, thanks. Bylaws, we don't have any tonight. Correspondence and information. We do have something from the NWT Community Government Accountability Framework. And that's the 2017-2018 report. And I'll bring up something to highlight for us there.
Yeah, I'll just briefly run through the accountability report, Your Worship. It measures us on a number of different factors. And we do very well in a lot. There are some that we have some weaknesses in that I want to highlight. But in terms of governance, we got a very good rating there. One of the poor ratings we got was in planning, comprehensive planning, but we have addressed that. So we'll score better on our next reporting because we now have a strategic plan that we have adopted and as part of our planning process. Human resource management, we score very well. Capital planning, we score very well in. Emergency planning, we're in the middle of the road there, so we can make some improvements there, but we're not but concerned. Sound financial management and asset management, we score low in. And that sort of leads to an opportunity that MACA is rolling out round 2 of their online asset management software, which will be available to between 4 and 6 communities. I've indicated to MACA that we are optimistically wanting to be a part of round 2, but wanting to bring that to council for council has to support this through resolution. So basically it will give us the tools for both the village and staff to allow us to better plan for our asset replacement, facility replacement, all of the things that
And track
Tracking
yearly
your
costs.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Maintenance.
So
which we've been asked to do in various areas.
So MACA will be selecting based on council support.
Should we go ahead and support that tonight?
Well, I'm going to ask if council would want to support moving that commitment forward with a resolution and letting MACA know that we would be a willing participant.
I support.
I think it was about 4 months ago, we had mentioned for you guys to go ahead and start looking for a program like that. I don't know if we did a resolution or was it a recommendation. I don't know if it was you or.
We had sort of talked around it through budget and operational things that we looked at. And this was certainly going to be a good tool that we wanted to get. And we were hoping MACA would roll out round 2. And in fact, they have. So it's a good place to start.
So would you say that the resolution should read something like that council participate in MACA's
MACA's online asset management software system.
asset management system. It comes with training.
It will come with the initial software, all the training, startup training, and ongoing
Data management will take 3 or
maintenance.
4 months for sure.
Yeah.
You have to enter all your data.
And it's at a cost. I think we should write that in.
We would be looking at an ongoing cost of up to, we won't need 5 licenses. If we have 2 or 3, we should be looking at about a $5,000 annual cost for the license. So I think it'll pay itself back every year in spades.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I wrote it down. If somebody wants to move and second it.
I'll move it.
Yeah, okay. Councillor McPherson moves. Seconder, Councillor Worrell. Yeah. The council participate in MACA's online asset management system at a cost of approximately $5,000 per year.
So
Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, 5, 4, none against.
I'll just run quickly through the other measurement items, Your Worship. The other one where we've seen as a weakness was in procurement. But again, we've made, we got the low rating because we did not have a policy in place. So we now have a procurement policy, so that rating will improve. Our financial reporting is in the excellent, as well as our audits. Safe, healthy, and vibrant communities, drinking water management, and the safety of communities, a very high score. Waste management, again, green high score. Fire protection, very high score. Sport and recreation, just under the top. And those are the factors they measure. So overall,
where does it fit into this? Is it in the capital?
part of the capital planning that they talk about. Community governments maintain a responsibility for planning, construction, and operation of community infrastructure. So we've been identified as being very good at covering our core community needs. And we continue to use, there's a MACA capital planning tool that we are participating. So overall, some good scores. So
And that was from last.
17 at the end of 17-18. So we'll be there's another set of
Soon to come out.
soon to come out that we have to rate on. So
Okay. All right. Council matters and concerns. Maybe I could start with Councillor Bellefontaine.
I guess it's just one concern is I noticed there's another batch of puppies in town that came from Wrigley. There's a few, but I know some came from Wrigley. In good news, they're having a vet clinic there next week, so that's good. It would be nice to stop all the puppies that come from there to our community that we end up dealing with. so that's good. I'm also going to do I'm going to offer a shot for dogs because we've got all the new puppies, but I'm going to insist that anybody who I do shots for must have their pet licensed through the village because that's what they're supposed to do anyway. Yeah, I've seen some positive things with dogs lately too. So things seem to be getting better, but I just wish we weren't getting so many new ones from out of town. But anyway, that's all.
Okay, Councillor Morrow?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Antoine?
Yeah, it's gonna be the third time I bring this up, but I wanted to get some more wording on what we're going to do for planning to provide water to the residents of Wild Rose Acreage and up on the hill. And I had suggested we start looking at piping water up there. And I'd like to try to get some more wording so we can start work or finding out how much money it's gonna cost to start working on it.
Right.
Not if we
Okay.
can do it, but how much it's gonna cost to get it done.
Right, just looking at it.
And I'm not sure where we can put it on our wish list up there, but
Yeah. I remember we did set some money aside for that type of planning where it's just investigating, I guess, just to see what things might cost looking forward.
yeah.
Okay.
So, so if we could get some more information on that, that'd be great. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Okay. Councillor Hassan?
Thank you. In fact, I don't have concerns. I have just little questions more than concerns, if you don't mind. Number one, what's the updates on the traffic sign, light, crossing, whatever for the school? If we can know that. The second one is also, I don't want to interfere in the administration, or I don't want the council to interfere in the day-to-day activities, but I would like to know, and we are getting close to the winter right now, and our back truck being sent to Edmonton. What happened about that back truck issue? That's one. The third one also, and this came up to me by one of the residents, is we had a brush sweeper, road sweeper. Is it operating or not operating? And the last one probably is what's our plan? It might be on later in regards to we just lost our rec coordinator, and the recreation is a very crucial activity in the community here. What are we doing in that matter? And the last one, which is really important, the bears issues. Bears are in town. Like even today, I was in ENR's office and I asked. They said still there are 2 bears in town roaming around. So I noticed in some areas we have like willows and bushes. So what's our plan as a village to help in that situation? And I noticed that some of this bush is in some people's properties, but in the public areas, what do we do to protect the residents from attacked by bears?
Did you want to answer any of those right now, or take the time to?
Some of them I will.
Okay.
With respect to the crosswalks and the stage, we've now started using a different paint product on the crosswalks. They seem to be lasting longer. The paint seems to be lasting longer. We bought a series of signs that we placed in 3 or 4 strategic crossings. We want to continue down the Main Street run where all the crosswalks are, continuing with those signs. We're optimistic that they'll be obeyed and heeded by the drivers in the community. You've noticed there's been some yellow painting of the curbing on corners and certain areas. Again, more of a safety measure we've looked at. So those are some of the things we've done, Councillor, to address some of that. The vac truck has in fact been serviced. It is back. It is working and ready for the winter. The brush sweeper has a few little hiccups that are being addressed, and they may have been. We can discuss some of the staff issues when we go in camera, so we can update on that. And bears, we'll look at maybe doing a little further work on trimming back some of our public areas in town that may be attractive for bears to hide in, but I guess other than that, I guess that's all I have to report or reply, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Councilor McPherson?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, all right. Well, we do have an in-camera matter, which is sort of ahead of when we would normally take a break. So if you want, we can just go right into the in-camera. And I've got a motion moved by Councilor Morrow, seconded by Deputy Mayor Antoine, that council move into the in-camera. And just looking for the, I thought I saw it somewhere. Roll call. But yeah, there we go. All right. So those in favor, I'll, yeah, it's hit.
After
Okay.
we called for the meeting.
All right, yeah, that's right. Deputy Mayor Antoine, in favor? Yeah. Councilor Bellefontaine? Councilor Hassan?
Yay.
Councilor McPherson?
Yes.
Councilor Morrow?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 5 in favor, none against. So we will be going into camera, in camera.